All right, folks, I'm going to go live a few minutes early here. Wow, that was a game that I first half I was not feeling good about it after just watching how we were struggling against their offense. Then in the second half, boom, all of a sudden, we were kicking butt and our defense found a way to stop their run and to stop Taylon Green. And then we get a 17-point lead, had some nice turnovers, and looked like we would win it no problem. Then we went into prevent defense and prevent offense, which prevents you from winning. And then at the final there, the last few minutes, I texted my buddies. I was like, Joey's got to throw and Joey's got to run, because they had 9 in the box and they weren't respecting his ability to run. And the first thing he did in the last series was run not once, but twice. Now, granted, he fell on the football, which wasn't planned, I'm sure, but that changed everything, because they couldn't respect him. They couldn't ignore the running backs because they would have gotten loose. So they said, okay, he's not going to run. And then all of a sudden he took off, and there you go. So a nice win, got it done. Should have won by more, but our defense this year has been a bit of a struggle. We did have a nice period of time there in the game where we were playing like last year's, but man, that was a tough game. The turnover saved us. The referees creaked us the whole game. They were just, oh, man. But anyway, in the SEC, you get your wins where you can get them, because you just never know. Any SEC team can get you right now. I mean, even Vanderbilt and Arkansas and Mississippi State can get you if you're not careful. So I was glad to see that Joey wasn't hurt when he fell on that football, though. That would have been tragic. We need him big time. Let's take a little look-see at where we are and where our numbers are. Well, crap. Let's get that a little bigger so y'all can see it. There's the important numbers right there, 34-31. But let's take a look at what Joey did. He was 16 of 25 for 221, 1 TD. Taylon Green, of course, hey, he got his numbers. You knew he would. You can only hope to contain him. He's going to do what he does. Bishop had a great game. Then he got hurt. I'm hoping he's not badly hurt. Braylon Staley had a great game. I'm hoping he's not badly hurt. Man, I'm telling you, it's just hard to stay healthy. They had injuries as well. Let's see what else we got in. That's a summary. Let's go into team stats. Let's see. Very similar, although a lot of that was in the last 2 drives when we went into the prevention of winning. That's what I call it. 256, they ran all over us. We ran all over them. Yards per play, first downs, they had more than we did. God, look at their third down efficiency. That was way better than ours. But they had 3 turnovers. That was huge. Right there, that's monstrous. And then for some reason, I guess Arkansas doesn't get penalties. They had 1 for 10 yards, and we had 10. 10 penalties, and they had 1. So that was lucky for them. I guess that offset some of the fumbles, if I had to guess. I tell you, there was like, 3 quarters where they didn't have it. It's amazing. Bobby Petrino must be a miracle worker, because Arkansas usually has quite a few penalties, but all of a sudden when he's head coach, I guess they don't have any. So good for him. Like I said, fortunately, we had some nice turnovers. Yeah, balls level 1. I couldn't agree more. We got way too conservative. It was so obvious that if they had 9 in the box, you can't put 9 in the box, people. And you're running the ball. They're begging you to throw it. And then Joey just hold on to the ball. There was multiple times he could have just waltzed for the first down, and he wasn't doing it. And then I guess the coaches showed it to him on their iPads. It's like, dude, they're not respecting your ability to run at all. You've got 10 yards of open green. Just take it. And then what does he do? He runs for 30 yards, and then he ran for 3 or 4 yards, and that was pretty much the game. And he could have thrown it for another 100 yards in that final fourth, final 8 minutes or whatever it was. We just kept trying to run the ball. It was like, God, there's 8 and 9 in the box, man. They're going man-to-man on you against guys they can't cover. Just burn them. And plus, you can also release the tight end. You could do there's so many things you could do when they put 8 and 9 in the box. But that's all they could do because they were so far behind. They had no choice. Arkansas was in a pickle. Those turnovers really hurt them. Granted, the refs tried to help them, but they could only do so much for them. So, is what it is. Let's see. Somebody was yelling at me that, let's see, there was a huge upset. Let me see where it was. I know UCLA beat Michigan State. That wasn't a huge upset. Something must have happened. Let me see here what we got. Something crazy must have happened. Let's see what it was. No, it wasn't Notre Dame. Who had a huge upset? Let's see. Indiana beat Oregon. That's not huge, though. Where is it? Somebody was talking about Penn State. Are they out of the top 20 here? This is just the top 25. All right. I'm going to have to look at another place. I'll have to go to another one. I'll have to go to the ESPN one. Because I'm thinking something happened to Penn State. Let's see. Versus, they played what, Northwestern? Let's see what happened there. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, oh, my gosh. Folks, if you hadn't been watching, I'm getting ready to show you this. Be prepared. It's going to shock you as bad as the UCLA game did last week. There it is. Northwestern beats Penn State. Woo! That's a shocker. James Franklin, you are in trouble. Wow. Northwestern's not very good. I just can't see that happening. Wow. Yeah, they're going to be, they're already on Franklin anyway over last week. So you can imagine what they're going to do over this. Wow. That's a major shocker there. Let's get back into our game. Boy, I knew I saw somebody screaming about Penn State. Check it out, check it out. And I did. Let's get back to our game here, Tennessee and Arkansas. We'll get back to those other games here in just a second. Let's see what else happened in here. 4th down, they went for 2, only got 1. The fumbles were huge. They had the ball. Everybody's got the ball longer than we do usually, especially towards the end when we went into the prevent. That's hard to deal with. Let's see what you folks are saying here. Let's see. Ball fan, top 10 in tackles for loss and sacks, but bottom 10 in total. Yeah, I know. I guess we're gambling. This is not the defense we had the last few years. We've been able to stop the run, no problem, the last 3 years. And this year we haven't been able to do it. We're just getting pushed around pretty bad. As a matter of fact, let me pull that back up. We'll take a little look-see at this yardage. Yeah, rushing they had 240 yards. That's bad. Now, granted, some of that was the quarterback, and that's difficult to stop. It's so hard to stop a running quarterback, especially we did a good job against him for the most part. I think if we'd have kept playing our regular defense in that final few minutes, I think we'd have been all right. But you've got to go into the prevent. That's a rule. For some reason in college football, when you get a lead, you got to go into the preventing a win defense, and then you have to run the ball every single time. You can't, no matter how they put 9 in the box, and you're going to run the ball. You can't run the ball against 9, but you can throw all day. You're going to have wide open wide receivers, and you've got the most accurate quarterback we've had in a long time. Just let him pick them apart. He's got 3 chances. I promise you he's going to hit one of the guys, and it's going to be a first down. They didn't have anybody in that defensive backfield could stay with our guys. So, anyway, McCoy, I hope so. That'd be nice. I hope McCoy's back. We can use him. I'm hoping these other guys – we had some guys get hurt. I don't know how seriously, The big injury was Joey, and I think he's fine. So that was great. I knew I was like, oh, crap, he fell on the football, and that's exactly what it was. We don't know about a running back or hoping David Hobbs just had a cramp because he hadn't played. And it's not that foot again. That would be not good. We need all the help we can get in the middle of that defense. Let's see what else y'all are saying here. For Tennessee to put – oh, Lord, I'm not going to put that out there. Did you see Drew Aller is out? Oh, no, and I didn't. Is that part of the reason why they lost? Did y'all see Prabula for Mizzou? That guy looked like he was going to throw up on that last series. Dude, he looked nervous. He was throwing the ball immediately. His feet were dancing around. I was like, dude, you need to calm down. They could have won that ball game against Alabama, but he looked scared to me. Sam Pitt, my calling back. Getting fired. Well, he should have done that last year if he was doing that. It's their defense that's terrible. Arkansas's defense is awful. I mean, granted, we should have torched them more than we did, especially at the end. We could have run up that score, I think. If we'd have kept throwing the ball, we'd have run up the score on them. But coaches aren't taught to do that. They've got to go into the prevent. And then they got to run the ball every time up the middle until it becomes obvious you're going to lose the game, and then they let the quarterback run and throw. Is what it is. Let's see. Conservative. I know. Why do we get so conservative? Especially, here's the thing. There are certain rules in football. If there's 8 in the box, you should throw the ball. If there's 9 in the box, it should be criminal not to. Because you've got to. Good Lord. Yeah, keep scoring. That's exactly right, Lawn Man. Lawn Man knows. Keep scoring. You got to keep going. This is not 1975. You're going to win 14-12. That's not how it works. You got to keep scoring. And we've got a great quarterback. We got great wide receivers. We can run. We can throw. We can do anything we want, but you can't just run it up the middle when there's 8 and 9 in the box. But I know coaches, they get nervous. They're like, well, the only way they can beat us if everything – it's like, don't think like that. Just keep going. Anyway, I thought Joey played well. He's so confident out there. He could have had a lot more yards, but, hey, he's a good quality quarterback, very much so. He could run for a lot more yards if he wanted to. But I don't know. Sometimes they just they got to do what the coaches tell them to do. I didn't think that was targeting. I really did. Look like shoulders to me. Didn't that look like he hit him with the shoulder? Of course, we didn't get to see the bunch of replays on it because they went to commercial and then they said, oh, yeah, it's targeting. I was like, I don't think so. How'd I do on my picks? Let's see. I won some of them, I know. Let's see. I know some of them I lost, of course. The UCLA one I lost. The Ohio State one I won. Tennessee I lost, but I won. I'll go ahead and tell you, when it comes to the Tennessee thing, if I don't cover the spread, I'm fine. Believe me, I'll take the W all day long in the SEC. I thought that was a pretty big point spread, but we should have won by more than 10.5 or whatever it was. If we'd just kept throwing the ball and letting Joey run a little bit, but it's still a win, so I'm not concerned about it, honestly. Hard to game plan. Yeah, got to agree. It is. I thought the defense did well there for most of the second half, and then they just went into the prevent, and there you go. Perry, I appreciate it. You're more than welcome. I think every team deals with that. You just got to stay aggressive. I think in 2025 and really the last several years, you need to keep scoring. You should never go into prevent unless it's just absolutely necessary, especially when the defense is begging you to throw and you've got a great quarterback. So it'd be one thing if you had kind of a squirrely quarterback who runs pretty good but can get a little loose with the ball. Joey is very accurate. honestly. And he's smart with the ball, I think. So, well, some people are getting on Banks. Banks was great the last year. We had the number 6 defense in the country. So, I don't know. I think part of it's having both your cornerbacks go out hurt. That played a role, but we also lost one guy in the first round and then another guy in the second round in the NFL. I think that played a role. We had some good guys in there, and we just got to rebuild. But here's the thing. We've got some talented athletes, several 5-stars on that defensive line. We just got to coach them up. Just coach them up. Says, I hate prevent. You and me both, Stacy. Good grief. That prevent makes me crazy. It just makes me nuts. I can't handle it. Yeah, well, fortunately, the turnovers helped us offset the refs because we had 10 penalties and they had 1. 10-1. So that's absurd. And how about the pass interference that they totally missed? And then they called they made some calls that were just awful. They really did. It was just pitiful. Yeah, we had some drops. We had some great catches too, though. I thought Braylon Staley had the game that of the year for him. He played fantastic, and Mike Matthews played a really good game. I was very happy with him. Kitzelman had some good catches. He missed a couple he should have absolutely caught, and they were big drops. Kitzelman is a double-edged sword. He giveth and taketh away from you. Y'all have a Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams needs to get that security. What is it? That little stuffed animal that he uses to, it's anxiety stuffed animal or whatever it is he calls it. I knew when I saw him walk in with that stuffed animal, I was like, that is not a good sign in football. You don't need a security animal. When you play that sport, you got to be tough, real tough. So, but look, it's 2025. Everybody's got to have their safe space. Mike Matthews didn't run the route. He had a good game, though. Uh-oh. Sanders. What's wrong with Sanders? Oh, probably because the offensive line's been pretty good about protecting Joey, if I had to guess. Boo Carter. Boo had some good moments. He had some crap moments, too. He gets a little, who knows? I'd have to look at the tape. I don't want to sit here and make too many statements about him. That's the thing about playing safety. You can see when a cornerback screws up. It's harder to see when a safety screws up. Yeah, everybody's going to be mad about that. Look, the rest did us 0 favors and did Arkansas plenty, but we got 3 turnovers, and that's why we were up 17, and then we decided to let them back in the game because that's what you have to do. Ugh. I'm just hoping that Braylon Staley's fine because he had a great game, and then our running back got hurt too, so we'll see what happens with him. No, we're not going to lose to Bama by 50. DJ, calm down on that. Good grief. Look, every game's different. What do you got up there? Wait a minute. What the crap was that? Oh, you've got that the vice president. Like, what the heck? Is that whatever those are called, the little circular things? I never can remember the name of those things. Officials are always Matthew, 100%. My brother Chilmont 100% agrees with you. Well, I mean, when it's 10-1, when there's 10 flags on you and 1 on them, it's kind of hard to argue against that statement. Who you got, Bama or? Well, I'm definitely going to pick the Vols against Bama. I got no choice about that. I'd say they'll be favored by, I don't know, what do you think, 3 to 6 points, something like that. Probably no more than a touchdown, I wouldn't think. I mean, it's not like they let's see, who'd they play? Mizzou almost beat them. So, I mean, it's not like they're, awesome. So, I feel we got a very legitimate chance. Look, there's no team in the SEC right now that's not beatable. That's the beauty of the transfer portal and NIL is that it spreads the talent. So, you don't have the Georgias and the Alabamas that just beat the crap out of everybody like they did for 10 years. It's not like that. Every team can be beaten. I mean, Texas already has 2 losses. They were fine. Can you believe that Mateer played today with a broken thumb that had just been surgically repaired? That just shocked me. He's a tough dude. He didn't play great, but he was out there. Look, don't think that we can't beat Alabama. I promise you we can. We've won 2 out of the last 3 years. It can happen. Now, granted, they'll be favored, of course, but they're not world beaters. I mean, like I said, they were lucky that, look, had Prabula calmed down, he'd have got him into a field goal position, but he couldn't do it. He was too nervous. Matter of fact, let's take a look at some of those games that we were just talking about. Let me pull that up here, because I can tell you that game could have absolutely gotten away from Alabama. Let's see. I'm in the wrong. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it was a 3-point game, folks. 3-point game. So, and that's one. I picked Alabama to win that game. I picked Ohio State to win, so there's 2 wins for me. I lost to Tennessee, but I won the Tennessee because I'd much rather get the win. I don't really care about the spread that much. I did lose that one, I believe. Let's see. That's a huge win for Texas. That saves their bacon. And Texas A&M and Florida, I've got A&M on that one. And if Florida, I tell you, DJ's looking better. Let's see. USC's beating Michigan. And, Auburn's beating Georgia. Woo, that'll be a heck of a ball game. And then LSU is barely beating South Carolina. Let's see. Don't care about those other games. So I do care about this one. I'd like to see USC beat Michigan. Let's see. A&M, I picked A&M. Glad. Look, you just take your wins where you can get them, folks, in the SEC. Don't sit here and get worried about letting them back in the game. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Ole Miss screwed around with Washington State. And South Florida, good. They blew out North Texas. Oh, no. What did Florida State? What are you doing, Florida State? You lost to Pittsburgh. Oh, TJ on College Football Addiction is not going to be happy about that. I'll have to talk to him about that. I got to get him on my show again. Well, anyway, let me pull this down. All right, folks, we got a win. I'm happy. It's the SEC. You take your wins where you can get them. We had some good things happen. We got Joey. I think we'll be okay. We got a big game coming up next week. We'll be talking about that. Don't you worry. I'll be all in the middle of that stuff. Anyway, I appreciate y'all showing up for the post game. Why can't it just be easy? See, I had to set all this up at the last minute because we can't just take a 17-point lead and just blow them out. And that gives me like 20, 30 minutes to set up this post game show. But I'm so stressed until the very last second that it takes me, I have to come up here and kind of haphazard put it together. Fortunately, I've gotten better at it, so I don't look like a fool. Although, wait a minute, I got to do something before we leave. I got to add some stuff. Let's see. Let's start out with this one. Look, we won. Yeah, got to add that one. Of course, this one.
Roadhouse.
Got that victory. Let's see. We can tell. I got to put this one. Y'all like this one. That's always a classic. And I tell you what, hey, I got to give some credit to Nico before I leave. Let me give a little bit of credit to Nico. I don't want to be that guy that just rips on him constantly. Hey, he beat who'd they beat? Michigan State. Well, this is not. Just assume that Penn State's Michigan State.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
I had to do that for Nico. I've given him so much grief all year. I had to do something nice for him. I just had to. And let's finish with this one.
Double our investment in Omaha.
Omaha!
Omaha? Omaha! Omaha! Omaha!
Yeah, Omaha. All right, folks. Good win. Good win. Take your wins where you can get them. 5-1. We're 5-1, folks. We won 30 games the last 3 years. Now we're 5-1. We got Josh Heupel. Look at these other coaches, what they're dealing with. Look at what Auburn's dealing with, what Florida. Billy Napier, how'd you like to have Billy Napier or Hugh Freeze? How'd you like to be in that situation? Jeez. It can be things are good. Things are good. I'll see y'all next time on Sports Talk Jay.